everyone, my name is Krishna and welcome to our New York State Council of Health System Pharmacists Membership Engagement Series. Today we are with Dr. Angela Chang Lai, President of New York State Council of Health System Pharmacists.
Hi Krishna, it is so good to see you again. Well, you were my student from the University of Buffalo. Wow, this is almost 3 years ago. It is so good to see you again. And thank you for taking the time to get to know me a little bit more today.
It's so great being here with you, Angela, today. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yep, I am a clinical pharmacy manager at Montefiore Medical Center, and I'm also an associate professor of medicine at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine.
That's awesome. Can you tell us where you grew up and can you describe your childhood for us?
Yeah, wow, childhood. That brings back so much memories. So I was actually born in Hong Kong. And back then, when I was born, it was a British colony. So I was actually born a British citizen. Then when I came to America, I became an American citizen. Well, one memory that stuck out to me was that Hong Kong was a very crowded place. I remember walking down the streets on the weekends in the busy shopping area. People were actually touching each other. So we were very close, in the crowd. So you have to like people there, I suppose. And when I came to America, I was so amazed at how much space we each have. There was so much personal space that I was so happy.
That's so wonderful to hear.
Yeah, and I must say that it was a little bit of a difficult transition coming from Hong Kong to here. Because like most immigrants, my parents had to take a more labor-intensive job when they were here. For example, my father was actually a head chef on a ship when we were in Hong Kong. So we had a pretty good life. But when we came here, he became a cook at a restaurant. And I remember that he had to work long hours in front of a very hot stove. So it was very difficult for him. But still, he was really happy to work because he knew that that meant his children would have a better future. So he was, happily working very hard for us, for our sake. And my mom was a housewife when we were in Hong Kong. But when we came here, she actually had to work at a sweatshop or a clothing factory. So I remember back then a lot of women coming from like say Hong Kong or China or maybe many Asian countries, ended up working at clothing factories. It was very difficult life. And we had to work pretty long hours. So I remember on the weekends, we used to work from like 9 o'clock to 7 o'clock in the evening. And even like on the weekday, we would go there to help my mom after school. So I remember school ended at 3, and then we went to the factory and helped out until 7 o'clock. Then we went home to do our homework. So there was no cartoons. It was just going to school and working. So that's kind of how we grew up. But I think that looking back, I really appreciate that experience because that experience really taught me to work very hard.
That's such an inspiring story. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
Can you tell us some of your talents and hobbies you enjoyed growing up?
Yeah, so when I was a little girl, I used to be so fascinated by the ballet dancers. I always wanted to learn ballet, but in Hong Kong that was very difficult because I guess one had to be very rich in order to get into a ballet class. But when I came to America, I saw the opportunity. I saw that many people were taking ballet classes. So I remember that even though I was older, I think I was about 12 years old when I started learning. And I was the oldest one in the class. So I remember that everybody else was like 5 or 6 years old, and I was like 12 years old, so I was like head and shoulders above everybody. Now, I know that doesn't happen very often in real life right now, but that was the case back then. But I advanced very fast as a ballet dancer, and I was able to join, I would say, girls my age, very soon. And I had some really fun years learning ballet as a teenager.
That sounds so fun. You'll have to show me some of your moves sometime.
Sure. I don't know what I remember right now, but sure, yeah.
What advice can you share with us about family?
So I would say that growing up in America as an immigrant, we had a pretty hard life because we had to help out after school, in the clothing factory, and my parents had to work very hard. And we never went on vacation because my parents didn't speak very much English and they didn't drive. So I remember that the only family vacation I had growing up was when my older sister brought us to Disney World. When she was I think a sophomore in college. So my older sister is about 3 years older than me, and my younger sister is about 6 years younger than me. So I remember one summer she took us to Disney World. And even though we didn't have a lot of money, we were staying at like probably like a motel room. And I still remember she brought the rice cooker with her, and she was like making ramen noodles in the hotel room. But yet we were very happy. We were together, on vacation. And what really helped was that we were able to go to Space Mountain. So Space Mountain existed even back then. So we were so happy, just being together, for the time.
It sounds like a very precious memory. Thank you
Yes,
so
it
much
was.
for sharing.
And I would say that even until today, we try to get together every moment we have. And whenever we get together, we just really treasure that time to be with each other.
Definitely, family is super important.
Yeah.
How does your childhood experience shape you as an adult today?
Yeah, that's a great question. Because I would say that I have such a challenging childhood that makes me appreciate everything and everyone. And I don't take anyone for granted, and that's including you, Krishna. I am so happy that you came back. Even though you were a student at Montefiore, I think almost 3 years ago, but now you finished your PGY2 and you're back here, and I'm just so happy and I'm so proud of you. So I don't take anyone for granted. I don't take anything for granted. That's including being a pharmacist, because I realized that being a pharmacist, I have the opportunity to serve my patients every day, and also serve my colleagues and make a difference. I remember one time one of my patients had told me that I was the best co-pay that she has ever made, because spending an hour with me at the clinic helped her to learn so much about her medications, and she was so happy about that. So I definitely would like to grab those opportunities every day to make a difference. And I would say that I definitely don't take being president of NYSCHP for granted. Thank you so much for taking a chance on me. So as a matter of fact, because I want to making sure that I follow up with the goals that I have set in the beginning of my presidency, I have recently shared my installation video on YouTube, just so that I can remind myself of what I'm supposed to do as president of this great organization. And most of all, I don't take any of you for granted, our members. Thank you so much for taking the time to advocate for the pharmacy profession, and also to actively participate at NYSCHP so that we can advance our profession together.
Thank you, Angela. You're an inspiration not just for me, but for everyone on NYSCHP. And thank you so much for sharing your story today.
Oh, thank you, Krishna. And it is so good to see you again. And thank you, everyone. Bye.